there are companies in the US that specifically ask their job applicants not to include any pictures in their application documents in order to prevent discrimination. And that may even go so far that you are told that your application will not be considered at all if you violate that rule and you include, let's say, a headshot in your resume anyway. And that may sound like a good idea because fighting racism and discrimination, of course, is a good thing. But as we will see in a second, it's not as easy as that. And doing that will not help prevent discrimination, and therefore it raises the question if the real motives do not lie somewhere else. And I thought it's worth discussing that in a podcast episode a little because it may have some practical consequences for your decisions on how and where to apply for suitable jobs. Hello and welcome to my podcast. I'm Michael Kaiser. I work as an international career coach and I help managers and specialists get the job they want with a new employer abroad. So before I go into detail here, I need to point out that I'm only talking about situations where the companies are free to make their own rules in this regard. I'm not sure if there are some states in the US that have legal provisions in place that require companies to run their application processes in a certain way and maybe even demand this kind of stuff. So I'm not sure about that. But regardless of that, this discussion is only about where a demand not to include pictures is voluntarily done by the companies. And the whole idea, as I mentioned it, sounds nice, but if you analyze the typical job application process, you will notice leaving out the picture at the very beginning will not help much if there is racism, discrimination, bias in place, because in this case, sooner or later, the ways or whatever it is will be disclosed, and then it is still time to reject the candidate. So it may prolong the process a bit, but it will lead to the same decision. So it is actually not in favor of the candidates, as the decision is against the person anyway, but it would lead to a prolonged application process where the person spends time and places his or her hopes on it, and then all of that will be wasted because the decision is against the person anyway. So not including the picture obviously will not really help with that. But there's an even more straightforward reason why it cannot really work, and that's the fact that many people have a good LinkedIn profile these days, and you should. And if you have a good profile, you will have included a professional headshot of yours because it makes the profile look so much nicer. So this is the right thing to do. And of course, because of the fact that most people tend to do it like that, a quick search on LinkedIn will lead to your profile, and then people will see the picture as well. So they don't even have to wait for the job interview. If they want to know, they will within a few seconds. So this will not help fighting racism and discrimination. And because it is so obvious, if you analyze the situation, the question is, why would people do that anyway? And in my opinion, maybe not always, but very often, especially in terms of the big corporations, it says a lot about the business. and the way the business handles obvious issues. So if you want to fight discrimination and racism, you cannot find it with measures like that. But if a business claims that this is possible, then apparently the business has something to hide. So yes, there is bias, there is racism probably, but instead of fighting it for real, it's just claiming to fight it, and what really happens is probably not as good. So this is only speculation. In the particular instance, it may not be that evil or that political or whatever you want to call it, but still, it says a lot about the business, because businesses that care about their customers, their products and services, and of course also their working environment for their employees, simply have no time for stuff like that. They work on the real issues, and if you work on the real, if you create the real work environment, then biases and racism and all this kind of stuff will have no place, and you will have great people working in a great business and putting their focus on serving their customers with great products and services. So this is how real businesses handle the situation. They focus on the real stuff, and they don't waste their time on political fake leaves like demands of letting the pictures out. So what does it mean for your particular situation? Obviously, you cannot change whatever is going on at those businesses, and if you are aware that the business prefers or even demands that you don't include any pictures, then of course this is what you should do. So in this case, you leave out all of them and just follow their rules in order to maximize your chances. Now, I would like to encourage you to think twice about if you really want to work for a place like that, because this is not going to be the last political demand they are going to have. This is only the first, and you need to be aware that if you are going to join this corporation, then you will be part of a business culture that is about these political show, this woke show, and that's of course not right for everyone. But this is your decision, and if you believe this is right for you, then this of course is the only thing you need to keep in mind. You follow the rules and everything else will be fine. Now, what should you do in case you know that the company would appreciate having application documents that are enhanced by including a professional headshot, for example? Well, in this case, it's easy, because in this case, you should include it, even if it is not common in the rest of the country, because it will help in this particular instance. Now, what should you do if it's neutral? So you don't know, you're not aware of any particular demands in that context. Well, it depends on the situation, but if it's really neutral and there is no hint that including pictures is to your disadvantage, then I would always include it, simply because a picture says more than 1,000 words, and if you have a convincing resume in particular, and you put a little professional headshot at the at one of the top corners, then it will simply look much nicer. You will immediately have a personal touch to your application, and that of course is in your favor. So if nothing obviously speaks against it, I would always include it, even in countries where it is not so common. There are other countries, by the way, where you basically are required to provide a headshot, because this is simply the way companies expect it. And if you leave it out, in this case, it would not be in your favor. So I'm from Germany, and in Germany it's very common to always have a professional headshot included in your CV. So I hope this is some practical guidance that will help you make the right decision in the particular instance. And if you would like further help with that, I have a special page discussing the matter further on my website, and I will put the link to it in the video description. If you would like my personal support to make the right decision and prepare your job applications as perfectly as possible, and also maybe make the right decision if the particular business you have come across would be right for you, then I'll be very happy to help you with all of that as a professional career coach. This is what I do all day, and together we'll find out what's best for you and what is a really reliable answer in your particular situation. If this is of interest to you, please go to my website, click on the button that you will find on the homepage already, and this will guide you through a little process I have set up that will lead you to a free orientation call with me, where we will then analyze your current situation in detail, see what needs to be done, and of course I will also let you know how I can help you with all of that best. Just go to the website, read the article, and click on the button, and then we'll discuss everything else in this free call. If you have not joined our LinkedIn group for managers and specialists on the way to their dream job abroad, then this would be the perfect time to do so, because this will give you access to a lot of other people on the same journey. And I always mention how important it is to network with others, to get good information, and, for example, discussing what's right or wrong concerning your headshot in your resume would be a very typical question that you can discuss with someone in the country you are considering moving to. So become a member if you haven't done so, and become active in order to help yourself and hopefully also help others with your experience. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Activate the bell, leave me a like, because that will always help make the channel known to others on the way to their dream job in other countries. And let me know in the comment section what kind of topics you would be interested in for the future, because then I can base my selection on exactly that. That will be it for today. As always, I would like to wish you the very best for your job search abroad and all the little decisions you will have to make on that wonderful journey. And I'll be back here with another video very soon.